world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad. Welcome back to the IP Squad and our ongoing investigation into films and television based on Sherlock Holmes. I'm John Campbell. With me, of course, my partners for this investigation, the Jones Boys. We've got Brendan Jones.
Good day to you, sir.
And Robin Jones.
Hey, John, I just want to say, again, I said this initially as the oldest living.
I love that you're bringing this bit back.
Okay. Baker Street regulars.
Yeah.
That this episode so bastardized Mr. Holmes and what he was trying to do. He would never wear a fucking nicotine patch. Nicotine patch. What is this?
Well, that's right, folks.
Blasphemy.
It was inevitable that we would get here. It's time for modern day Sherlock with I would say I wouldn't even, it's not even I would say, definitively the most popular take on this character in recent memory. This thing became a phenomenon. 100%. And I think
it's no Elementary, but it's good.
It's good. I heard Stephen
but who could match Larry Hagman?
Well, it's true. I did hear Stephen Moffat say they called him CBS and said, "Do you want to come do your show for CBS?" And he went, "No." And they went like, "We were just asking. We're gonna do it. It doesn't, we were just being polite."
We were being polite.
It's public domain. We don't actually have to get you. We just thought you would appreciate the call. But obviously, we're doing it.
Here's the thing: we're talking about Sherlock. Technically, episode 1.
Yeah.
Though there was the unaired pilot.
Yeah, but this is episode 1 of what we saw. The unaired pilot is essentially this episode, but in a 60-minute format, because originally they had conceived it as 6-hour-long episodes before changing it to 3 90-minute episodes.
And is that unaired pilot? Is that on disc? I don't have.
It is. It's on the Blu-ray.
Okay.
Which, once again, not to brag, I do have. No.
No.
No, this is a show that I this is one of those shows that I bought a physical copy of because I can't deal with if it's not on streaming. I need this show in my collection. It's one of my absolute favorite TV shows.
Well, the coldest of takes. But I don't know. I get crap from you guys about my adherence to canon, to original source material, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
and
100%.
You take Sherlock in toto, and there's good and bad. Even the bad episodes still have Benedict Cumberbatch and
I wouldn't know. Yeah, it never even gets the weaker episodes, but there's something to love in every single episode.
Yeah,
comic book at the end, where it's like, okay, the sister character, and it gets nuts, and
no issue over here with things getting comic book.
But what I will say is this episode is it's everything I want it to be.
Yeah.
It is the best extrapolation, the best, let's bump something classic into modern day that I think I've ever seen.
I
would argue that that this is kind of my hot take, I guess, is that
I'm ready.
I hope so, buddy. I tell you what. As much as I love Stephen Moffat in general and love his stuff with Doctor Who, created the Weeping Angels. My wife's a huge fan of Coupling. He's a really all around such a strong talent.
Oh, love Moffat.
I'll have to say, I don't know what he could do, or Mark Gatiss for that matter, what they could do that would top this. This has to be their Citizen Kane. This has to be just the whole series in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they would acknowledge that, and
I will say I'm not encyclopedic because still to this date I haven't watched their Dracula because I read about I was like it's gonna annoy me. But here's the thing: they will continue to do great stuff.
Yeah, actually, Gatiss has a show on right now that's really good called Bookish. If you haven't,
I was about to bring that up because I was going to say,
it's on my list.
The thing is, when you watch what else they've done, and of course separately, and you go, wow, it's still there. They're brilliant. Yeah. But the high watermark has already been reached. Bookish, I enjoy, and again, Gatiss is just great, but it's
wonderful.
Yeah. It's not on the same level.
No,
it's just not.
But it's also
it's an original.
It's not trying to be. I mean, I think, like I said, I think they know, because I enjoyed Inside Man with what Moffat did with Stanley Tucci.
Oh, I watched the first couple episodes.
Which is also in this milieu, sort of. But I don't think I think they both know that this was something really special.
It just feels like,
because even the Dracula was a different thing.
It's just that the only literally within one episode they set a bar for themselves that even if they don't hit it every time, like the episode that follows this, I don't think is as nearly as good.
No, but the third one
the pattern with Sherlock
incredible.
Is great episode, great episode.
Yeah,
Every season was like the middle one was like, okay, not the.
I would say aside from season 2, the middle one all 3 are bangers. Season 2 is the only one where I feel like all 3, because it's Scandal Belgravia, Hounds of Baskerville, and Reichenbach are the 3.
Hounds of Baskerville. It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, they had to do it, but I like their take.
My point being that even the ones that don't work as well are so good.
No.
There's not a stinker in the bunch. I mean, as far as like
the writing is so strong,
the directing too, the cinematography of these things, the way they're edited, the way
beautiful to look at. The pace is
it's so much fun. I mean,
like a romp. And it's that thing I talk about with. God, I always go back to the Great Train Robbery. And by the way, folks, Great Train Robbery is not the best movie, but it's
a good movie though.
It's one of the greatest openings of anything I've ever seen into like a cold opening into an opening title.
So really, I do enjoy that movie immensely.
And this has that in spades all the way through, where great opening, and then that line that Freeman has of who wants to know, what nothing ever happens to me. Why would anybody want to know anything about that?
Yeah.
The way they just
I mean,
no.
I have cut into
this
the
is a thing where every beat lands. Every beat lands.
Yes.
And I did not know Benedict Cumberbatch before Sherlock.
No, I hadn't seen it.
I mean, but he comes in, owns the character. You're like, oh, of course. Yeah. And Martin Freeman, of course, I already knew, but hadn't seen him do something like this because I wasn't following all the British cop shows and stuff he's done and detective whatever. But and I'm like, holy crap, their chemistry from the drop, every bit of it. And again, for anyone that knows.
And stuff, and then the fact that they catch the other person laughing, they start laughing.
No, I mean this
is a Holmes that is. We've talked about. There are plenty of takes you can do with it, and we all enjoyed when we were talking about Murder by Decree that they were a chummy.
I like them that way,
Watson. And this is that right off the bat too. While everyone he encounters is telling him, the guy you just met is a psychopath. You want to stay away from him. It's like, that guy is probably going to end up killing somebody. Yeah. And the whole time you see Watson kind of just going like, that guy?
Yeah,
there's something about that guy.
I kind of like him. Yeah, That's
like
a thing
that guy.
I really enjoyed about this.
And him being fascinated by Holmes's abilities that piss everybody else off. That whole thing where he goes, most people, what do most people say when you do that? And he go, piss off.
Yeah,
most
so
people
good.
Say piss off.
And I love and the Cumberbatch thing about that. He's also really taken by like, oh, you like that? Like he's so ready to he's just so ready to be like, yeah, I'll just go fuck off then.
They also layer it in there where he goes, and it's on purpose, where they're going, genius needs an audience. So that's the whole thing, is that he's saying that about the serial killer, but it's clearly him too.
Right.
And the cops are never going to give him that, like, he's amazing, even though this is a very respecting Lestrade, who actually is irritated by him, but actually does respect him, and it's like, oh,
something I think is interesting as you bring up Lestrade. I was reading a lot of the comments and behind the scenes stuff, and Moffat and Gatiss talking about writing it and creating these characters, and they talked about Lestrade was one of the toughest because Doyle writes him pretty inconsistently. He's not in every story, and he has a different relationship with Sherlock a lot. And so they're sort of like, we like this Lestrade, the one who kind of respects him but is a little annoyed. That's our take.
Yeah, no, I thought that was good. And they also provide characters they've created to offer other perspectives that could have gone to, like, Lestrade. So you have the woman detective who's like going, that guy's insane.
Yep.
Literally going, and calls him freak. It's like, we're letting the
forensics guy who just outwardly hates him. That guy's great. And then of course you've got the coroner who's in love with him.
No, I volunteered.
Oh yeah, Molly,
who ends up being super important on the show.
Of their show, because a sad commentary. I mean, it's like, I love him, but he'll never love anybody.
And also, I think all that stuff is a great example of how you take these stories, which, I mean, he was writing serialized stories, but they were individual short stories. And they're by creating this cast of characters, they're building it into a TV show. You want to talk about translating between mediums? That's a great thing here. Yeah. They build this universe around Sherlock that he never had in the Doyle stuff, because you didn't need
Doyle
it in
didn't
those.
sit down. I mean, he knew. I mean, Doyle was going to be writing serialized stories, but he didn't know that there would be a demand for more Sherlock. He was enjoying writing Sherlock Holmes for a while until he hated it, and then still had to keep writing them. But so he didn't sit down at all. He really did sort of like, oh, here's my two main characters, and I came up with a crackerjack mystery. Yeah. But then he didn't think like, oh wait, so backstory and I need to.
I think that speaks to like the inconsistency of Lestrade. Is just like a cop needs to say something. It's Lestrade, and I'm not really thinking about what is Lestrade's journey across these. You know,
right. And he also, Brennan, this isn't far off. Doyle created other inspectors and other cops for. Holmes and Watson to interact with.
In fact, in the very first story, Lestrade is like, there's a pair.
There's a pair.
And Lestrade's one of them.
Right, and they. I told John this beforehand. I watched the Peter Cushing TV show from the late '60s, which is very British. Video, British. And then exteriors are 16 millimeter, and then back to video.
Looks like John Pertwee era Doctor Who.
Right. Yeah. And so I was
some Avengers.
And Avengers,
Yeah. Early 60s with Ian Hendry. Robin's Avengers Corner. Anyway, so but having watched that, I was really looking forward to this episode today, because I wanted to quiz about how much Moffat and Gatiss took from the original material, because to be honest, the Holmes book I have read is a study in terror, but all I remember is the initial meeting between Holmes and Watson, with him beating the corpse. I don't.
You mean Study in Scarlet?
Study in Scarlet. What did I say?
Study in Terror.
Study in Terror,
which we did watch.
Study in Terror, right? Study in Scarlet. And all I remembered was because I read it when I was like 10.
Yeah.
So it hard to
Literally,
forget somebody
it's
beating a corpse.
it's almost exactly the story lifted to modern day, including
a couple
the
times, but yeah, but
the rape.
Yeah,
The
but also
RACHE.
the way they meet. There's the friend in common, the exact same thing where it's like, and it may be completely lifted, except for, of course, Victorian language, where he's like going, I don't know who would want me for a flatmate, and he goes, you're the second person who said that to me today.
That's such a great line. The way the guy starts laughing, he goes, what?
Yeah, and then bringing Watson to where Holmes is experimenting, doing exactly that, and then basically going, Dr. Watson, this is Sherlock Holmes, that whole thing, and Sherlock Holmes immediately going, I know just the place, and you'll meet me there, and then he's like, I
mean,
okay?
you want to talk about also just aside from this being a great adaptation of Sherlock, it's a great pilot. Like it is one of the best first episodes. The pacing of it.
Yeah,
they brilliantly introduce the character. I mean, that moment when the camera does the push in on him, because I also want to talk about Paul McGuigan here in a second. I think who directed this, who I think is a huge part of the success of this too. But that push in on him when he goes, the name is Sherlock Holmes and the address is 221B Baker, and it is super. I mean, they Gatiss and Moffat talked about that they sort of wrote Holmes as a superhero. I mean, it has that kind of thing where you're like, oh my God, that's the Batman or the whatever thing of it, where it's just like, it's iconic.
Well, the iconography, they're not shying away from it.
No, they know it's like, you're going to love this
episode
guy.
When he puts the Deerstalker on, or is it the next episode?
I think it's
Scandal in Bohemia.
Right. Okay.
It's the first episode of the second
and
season,
even that is just sort of like this winky reference then
that's one of my favorite things they do in the show is the idea that the public wants the hat. People love that.
And Adler sending him text saying, "I like you in the silly hat."
Yeah. Yes. And he hates the hat. It's great. That's
they nail everything. They nail a modern Mrs. Hudson.
Yeah.
Yes.
The riff on Mycroft, where
the best.
The first time I'm watching it, it's premiere.
You thought it was
sitting there
Moriarty.
going like, oh my God, it's Moriarty, and Gatiss, what a great choice for Moriarty.
Yeah.
I'm like going, that's awesome. And then when it's revealed that's their Mycroft, and he is, and I'm just like, oh God, it's so great. And he goes, putting on weight, and goes, losing it actually. That whole thing,
it's so good.
Better this show.
And I love the idea that it's like
rather dynamic of the way
he's like, you actually care about him? He's like, well, yes, of course. It's like,
well, the whole thing about Mummy will be disappointed, and all that Mummy.
He referred to himself as your deadliest arch enemy. Is that even a thing?
I love that runner too, where he just keeps going. Who has an arch?
Don't have arch enemies.
Yeah, who has an arch? No one has an arch enemy.
That's the thing.
But then also that they are seating Moriarty though.
Underline Martin Freeman here. Martin Freeman in the Office, British Office DVDs that I
Tim
used to own.
Oh, I mean,
when he was him,
everyone,
his big fear was that he was cribbing too much from Oliver Hardy.
Oh, interesting.
Because Laurel and Hardy are gigantic in Britain, to this day, and he said because of all of his takes and stuff, he said, but
man, I never thought that, but that's funny.
I learned in theater school, so much acting is reacting, and that's something I really pride myself on. Well, Jesus fucking Christ and Sherlock. All of the great Freeman reaction skill set is here, where he just kind of cocks his head. He's always thinking. This guy is always reacting, always
he
thinking.
Also
the failed flirtation with the girl assistant to Gatiss.
Yes. And what's great is
so funny.
What's great about the way he is as an actor is you're right. He's using the same skill set, but he has shifted that tone just enough to be, I'm in a drama right now. However, this is a comedic beat for Watson being humiliated or whatever, that kind of thing. And in other words, he doesn't go it's not a reflex where he goes, okay, I'm going to get the big laugh. Instead, it is a real world take instead of like an Office take, which of course The Office is also very naturalistic.
Right.
I read this quote last night. I want to read it here.
But this is basically Watson as Angry Tim.
Well, I do also. I mean, yes. Well, I want to get to that.
The famous Dickens character, Angry Tim.
Angry Tim. But I want to read this quote from
God bless us, everyone except for you.
Yeah.
Fucker.
You know what you did.
He did.
This Moffat quote, I think, nails.
He looks at the camera and just goes.
I think this Moffat quote nails what Freeman is so good at here. He says, Martin finds a sort of poetry in the ordinary man. I love the fastidious realism of everything he does. Because I think then he does that, he extrapolates that into Black Panther as well, as Everett Ross, who is that guy. He is the Watson of that world or whatever, and is true to the comic book creation of the guy going, what the fuck? Like, what is all this? Yeah. And he is so good. I mean, Freeman is one of those guys who's so good at doing this that I think we take for granted, that when you see somebody else not do it as well, you're like, oh shit, he's really good at doing it. Because they talked about once again reading the thing, they had Cumberbatch. They only considered Cumberbatch. This thing was designed for Cumberbatch as Sherlock, but they talked about they really struggled to find Watson. That was the because I think in some ways it's the harder part. I mean, or at least it's tougher to get hooks into it. Sherlock has so many things, right? If you get the right guy, he can take that. He can do the speeches. Because they even talked about that as they wrote, they realized they could actually let Cumberbatch be more Victorian in how he spoke. That they tried to avoid that, and then they started to go like, actually, he's really selling that this guy talks like this in modern day, and he can do these long monologue lecture things, and actually, it's not boring the way Cumberbatch does them.
Right.
What I find it also amazing is, they clearly, I'm sure it's in the script, they were like, we're going to have to visualize his thought process.
Yeah.
What I do like about the show is they have their cake and they eat it too, because he will still give the Sherlock monologue about this and this and this and this. But we've also had these cool little graphic things when he examines the body, and it's just like the whole thing about wet outside, underneath the collar, also wet, but here dry, and all that kind of stuff. Right. And that's just the little graphics popping up, and we are essentially Watson and Lestrade watching him do this. He's doing it silently, but he will then also be able to go, because of this and this and this and when he goes, and where could they be coming from, but boom, and
never
Scotland, and
because he's so compelling. And you never feel like we've seen some of these where you kind of go like, now he's going to do the thing, or whatever. Now he's going to do the long. But Cumberbatch is just, I mean, it's incredible. There's a great quote from him too in the Wikipedia where he talks about like the fun of being like, they give you these words, you memorize them, you have all these amazing words in your head, you feel like a genius when you're saying them, right? I mean, like Cumberbatch is like, I started to believe I was this smart because I had all these things, and I have to say them, and that dialogue is incredible.
But the to Brendan's point too of the graphics in the room when he's examining the body, then he kind of explains the graphics to the audience,
right?
And
if
everybody,
we don't know what that all meant,
right? And then as he's going down the staircase, which is such in general, I would teach that as a class of how to construct exposition in a scene, because he is active. He goes down the staircase. So we've got these interesting shots up and down where he's actually downstage, and the questioning guys, Lestrade and Watson are a flight up.
Yeah.
But it's so he's constantly like not just explaining, but screaming out to the heavens, why don't you people understand? That this is the important thing.
The moments of
that it's when pink. She's all in pink.
Mm-hmm.
When the inspiration hits, this show allows Sherlock will brood. That will be something we'll see, and the violin thing, which he actually we don't see him play violin, but he does bring that up in this episode.
Not in
like,
this
are
one,
you okay
yeah.
with the violin?
Yeah.
But the whole thing of when it hits him, I do really like this take on Sherlock Holmes, where it is the game where he is. I do like also a coldly analytical. It just depends on like the actor. There are some that are like, oh, I want him to be almost robotic and data-like, and like Jeremy Brett, of course, there's a lot going on behind there, but he does a lot of calm. But this guy, this one is like, and is almost dancing. And
that moment after Lestrade leaves and tells him that there's a fourth victim, and it's like, yes,
he goes, "That's a serial killer,"
and there's a note this time, and yes,
like, oh, those are always fun. Like, oh my god,
Well, and the end, and that's what's I love the ending where it is like, I need to know if I did get the right pill. I need to solve this puzzle.
Right.
And I'm also going to throw a little love at our friend Phil Davis.
Mighty
incredible
Phil
in this. Incredible.
Guys, I'll tell you, his performance in this thing, the first time I saw it, locked so hardcore in my brain that I cannot think of anything when I see him in other things. And that's including the first film I think he ever did, which was Quadrophenia, where he plays Whitey.
Right.
And I just, every time I see him, I go, it's the serial killer cabbie.
It's
the serial killer cabbie.
And also, for what is essentially one extended scene, but he basically isn't in it, but also sets the tone for the first villain that really matches wits with Sherlock in the show.
Right.
And that scene is outstanding, and the whole
so great.
The whole bit about I love the idea about like, I have a gun, but I don't need it because you're gonna follow me. Like I know it's game recognized game sort of thing. The genius of and then the whole idea about like I choose the gun, and he makes him, and it's just like, I know a real gun when I see one. And it's like, oh, it's all just so.
No, every step is so perfect.
Yeah.
And then of course Watson saves the day, but the whole thing about, were you actually going to take one of them, is like, did you know the difference? And he goes, And it's like, maybe. And he's like, or did you guess? He goes, I never guessed. The whole thing about never guess. He goes, yeah, you do.
I do.
Every bit of it. I just,
guys, did you pick up on this? This is how brilliant this script is. Okay. Did you pick up on the thing that Sherlock has to make the choice, or feels like he has to make the choice, between the two vials that have a pill in them apiece?
Yeah.
At the same time, Watson rolls up to this I think it's a real school, and Watson rolls up to this place and has to choose between two identical buildings, where there are no differences between either one. And so he has to race up one of them, because GPS for a smartphone, especially back then, would not have been
that
so specific.
precise.
But even now, I manage a movie theater. When people come in with their Find My phones and they say it's got to be here, I go, yes, but we're a 3-story building. There's 50 rooms. I mean, it could be anywhere, just because it says it's here.
I didn't get that.
It could be in a dumpster.
A binary choice, but at the same time, it puts him in a perfect sharpshooter or sniper.
Oh man,
position.
and
once
again, the shout out to McGuigan and his cinematographer here. That whole bit going through the window and the gun, and it's all it's just, I mean, also the editing of this show, the boom boom. I mean, because one of the things,
Cracker Jack.
One of the things, and I think that's why I love this so much, is one of the things Moffat said is something I feel like we've all said, but particularly being the person I am, have brought up a lot, is he said a lot of this came out of him being, as a huge Holmes fan, going like, why is everything they make so slow and reverential to the thing? Because these were, these were Cracker Jack adventures when they came out, and everybody is treating them like, but everyone is treating them like masterpiece, high literature. And so he's like, I want to create the vibe that I feel reading Doyle. that they often miss in a lot of the
Right.
stuff, which is like, yeah, I think in some ways this is truer to Doyle than a lot of stuff in terms of it actually being a fun adventure as opposed to just being like, yes, studied and stayed.
One of the things about the Doyle stories is that I do understand the way some people approach them as that, but the Doyle stories aren't of a piece, and some of them are very like Sherlock hardly leaves,
well, we've talked about
some of them are very staid.
Yeah, we've talked about the Sign of the Four
also,
being
I'm
pretty
running
dull.
across the moors and doing that kind of, and I have bring your service revolver and we might need to use it.
The thing I like about this show, and there are even episodes that are more subdued, but the pace of the show, they can make that thrilling, even if it is a more staid storyline. Like the way it's shot, it doesn't have to. I haven't, aside from Guy Ritchie that took it to, action movie levels. That's a different thing. This is doing, very grounded to the story, mysteries, but presenting them in this way that just grabs you. And it's so exciting. And I think it really speaks to why this was such a smart approach, was they really did breathe new life beyond the modern setting. Just the presentation made a whole new audience of people go, oh, this is great. And this
like
character.
Modern, I wouldn't say cop show because it's really not.
But a thriller, but I mean, what it did, it revitalized what was already there in the stories. It just packaged it in a way.
It shook a lot of rust off the character.
That really
to do.
Yeah.
Well, you only have to look at the sequence of chasing the cab, where the editing and the storytelling on the editing, which immediately gets the audience into Sherlock's perspective of, oh my God, he's got the entire map of London memorized, and not just memorized, he knows like current
how long
detours,
the lights take,
and how long the lights take, and that there's construction on a certain street that is going to force a temporary detour, oh my God, and the fact they kind of drive it into the ground, but then it's like physicalized literally, is that Watson's limp is psychosomatic. He got shot in the shoulder. It's not even a thing that he should be suffering from at all.
And the reveal of the cane at the where he goes, well, how do you know I'm going to stay? He goes, because of who's right outside the door right now, and it's the guy who runs the restaurant saying like, hey, Sherlock called and said you needed this back, and it's just like him realizing, oh my God, what he said about me, as in I need this, and it's the psychosomatic thing is not PTSD from what happened. It's the fact that I am an adrenaline junkie and I haven't confronted that, and it's just
that is one of the things I love about this take on Watson as well. We so often see Watson as long-suffering, Holmes.
If they even deal with his, his service or his army background, because a lot of people skip over that. He's just the cohort. He's just the sidekick,
and he's often very plummy, and as we've complained about, and so. But I love this idea, and especially because this is the origin of their partnership. That scene where he's talking about where he realizes, oh, you're a doctor and an army doctor. And then the whole thing about like, we are going places and there will be death and there will be violence. It's like, do you want in? And he's like, oh God, yes. And it's just like, this guy has just been waiting to come back alive for something. And the way you see it revitalize him is so brilliantly written and performed.
Right. And that his hand tremors, not because he hates the violence, but it's that he does not, there's no high stakes anymore.
Oh, because
he needs the high stakes to calm him down.
Mycroft, of course, gets to be, show that he is as smart as his brother. The whole thing of him going like, may I see your left hand? And he's like going, and Watson's like, I don't even know you, dude. But he's finally, he goes, yes, well, here's the thing. And it's like, because I noticed that you're in a scary situation and your hand's not trembling at all. He goes, no.
Well, I mean,
your doctor. He goes, I would fire her immediately because your doctor is absolutely incorrect.
The moment when he does shoot Phil Davis at the end, and you see the way the camera is ramrod straight him out with that gun and makes that shot, and you just And the moment where
did you need a moment? Did you need a moment when?
Well, of course, I like when he shot the guy. But
he's got that gun.
But the
shot the gun.
And then what I love is the scene afterwards where he's like, where Holmes is like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "Well, you did just kill a man," and Watson is going, "But he wasn't a very nice man." Like that's he's got that thing where it's like, I don't have a problem.
And he wasn't very good cabbie either.
Yeah. You should have seen the route he took here, and they're laughing.
And he goes, "We shouldn't be laughing. This is a bad look for us." It's like, it's really all this trauma, and they're like, "Yeah, we shouldn't."
And then he's just, but then I love he's just like, "Dinner? Oh yes, well we'll go get," and you're just like, once again, it's a perfect ending to a first episode where you're like, "Oh."
Right.
I need to watch 100 more episodes.
They write like this low level skill that Holmes has. Holmes knows where the best restaurants are everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
plus, he gets to eat for free at most of them because
he saved them from.
Yeah.
Oh, another one of the best lines is the thing about Mrs. Hudson is cutting him a deal because her husband was sentenced to death in Florida, and they're like, "And you saved him from execution?" "No, I insured it."
So great. It's so great.
It's at every turn. It's just I mean, the script. Once again, it is just. I don't know what to say other than every single thing works in this, and I think
everything works.
I think largely that is like we talked about. There are better or worse episodes throughout the show, but I think in general the whole show feels that way. Of when they bring in. I mean, my God, I became the biggest Andrew Scott fan after his introduction as Moriarty.
Oh yeah,
and it
was an incredible.
And the casting of Irene Adler when we get to Laura Pulver and stuff like that.
I can't.
But that's the thing. It's like everything they do from the material is
you
like.
Want to give two old men heart attacks, John? Let's bring up.
Sometimes
Laura Pulver.
I mean,
I will
say,
for Christ's sake,
their Moriarty take is. I mean, because I don't fault them for we've got to reinvent, and it's an interesting take, and I love Andrew Scott. He is great.
Oh,
Fleabag. Come on.
I mean, I was just telling you guys about Richard Linklater's Blue Moon.
Here's my hot Andrew Scott take. Best part about Spectre.
Oh yeah. Oh God, he's amazing in it.
Yeah, he's great.
As C.
So good. Yeah.
So in other words, we love the guy. It goes.
Oh, don't
so far afield.
Don't, Brendan. Brendan, don't. It's.
Oh my God! Is it Brendan's Cannon Corner?
No. I like it. It's just again, it's so radical a reinvention.
Well, once again, reading the stuff they talked about though, that they said that a more book accurate Moriarty would seem to a Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes. That they needed somebody with more energy, with more psychosis, with more grandiosity than they
gentlemanly. The Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, again, to their superheroization of Sherlock,
I think
they wanted that.
There is a superheroization, but I think in some ways also there is this modern translation, right? Which is like, I do think that possible. I mean, I'm not saying you couldn't write it. I think Jared Harris did a great job of being a more book accurate Moriarty in the Guy Ritchie movie, but I do think in the modernization that villain is a little could come off as dull. Once again, I'm not saying you couldn't write it or find an actor that could do it.
I think they
but I understand
wanted,
why.
Because you have a young dashing Sherlock, I think they felt the need to also have someone who wasn't an older gentleman, because they did want to have some actual physical combat to some degree.
I mean, when you get to
a Moriarty that can actually sprint from one site to another.
The brilliance of that third episode of the first season where he is Molly's boyfriend and it does the turn and you're like, oh fuck, that guy. Oh man. He's
but I didn't react like that because I don't say dirty words, but but
Brendan's one of the clean guys of comedy, if you've seen that.
Brendan. I remember when Brendan went to Brigham Young University on the Osmond Scholarship. They really drilled into him.
And they actually surgically implanted the bigger teeth.
That was part of the deal. Sadly, it was rough stuff, but hey, it was worth it.
They taught me the harmonies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody has to learn Down by the Lazy River. That's a thing. And by the way, I don't mean the old jazz song. I mean the Down by the Lazy River.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, moving on.
I'm trying to. I mean, we've covered so much of this because it is just like, and this and that,
it's
and
great,
it's
and
amazing.
It's awesome. We love it. And if you haven't seen it,
the actor who plays Lestrade is
he's great.
force. It becomes a force to be reckoned with.
Rupert Graves.
Show.
Yeah, Rupert Graves is
the
wonderful.
great Rupert Graves, who I immediately recognized as Helena Bonham Carter's brother from Room with a View.
I mean,
I was like,
oh wow.
Well, I mean, the thing about this is, I mean, and this is one of the things I love about
him.
Wow.
When you watch a lot of BBC stuff, you do go like, so many times I see people and I go, I don't know what I know you. I don't know what I know you from. I look it up. I go, oh, just television. You've been on every British detective show. Yeah. The guy who plays the friend, the CSI guy. I'm like, I've seen you in every show I think ever produced by the BBC.
Yeah. It's all the same faces.
Yeah, I mean, it really does feel like.
And
what are you doing tomorrow? You want to be on Sherlock? Like.
Yeah. You get to play kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can do that.
But the other thing I wanted to say, this is kind of my hot take, but not exactly on Sherlock, is I think in the creation of Sherlock, it helped Cian Moffat.
Wow, you combined them.
Yeah.
Well,
there might as well be one guy.
When they fight Galactus, they actually join together.
I was going to say, how very Buona Beast of you. Combine any animal with another animal.
No, Brennan, listen, the powers of 3D, man. It's not exactly.
Oh, interesting, because I was going Firestorm. The two of them come together.
Firestorm. Listen, let me Brother Voodoo.
Which one would be the floating head?
So,
talk to the other one.
Firestorm could walk.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, so Brother Voodoo crawled. Anyway, guys, here's the thing. I don't think Stephen Moffat really had a strong lock on what Peter Capaldi's Doctor was until after he had done a few Sherlocks.
Sure.
And locked into that Capaldi's Doctor could be a cool professor, a lecturing professor.
Well, when you've got him riding in with an electric guitar and stuff like that,
right. Well, that's my point. Is I think a lot of those were solidified after they had done a Sherlock or two, where he's like, oh, I've got this guy and this other thing I'm doing that can do extended monologues in an interesting way. I just need to I need to lean into that a little bit more.
Well, I remember somebody asking Moffat about, like, well, it's interesting you write these shows. The characters are so similar. He goes, no, they're the inverse of each other. The Doctor is a god who wants to be a man, and Sherlock is a man who wants to be a god. He goes, they're polar opposites as far as he's concerned. So I think
but I think there's a Venn diagram that can be argued fairly.
I think characteristically, but I think characteristically I see it, and of course people are always going, who is Matt Smith? Could there do an episode of Doctor Who where he shows up and he meets Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock? And Moffat was always
it would be
number one.
Funnier to me if Doctor Who showed up and they were shooting an episode of Sherlock.
There you go. But also, of course, what became the thing with this show too, I think, also was these guys. Martin Freeman was already somewhat established. Cumberbatch was on the ascent, but these guys became like overnight superstars after this show.
Yeah,
and then going forward, it was like, how do we make their schedules?
Listen, I have all the posters of them from Tiger Beat that came out that year.
Well, I will say, I gotta say, there is something about the sex symbol status with a certain kind of person that is Benedict Cumberbatch, because he is a strange-looking guy, but man, did he become like, the Cumber bitches, right? The whole thing about the... and pretty fast. He's
how long did it take you to come up with that
John?
Name,
let's not ignore the Benedicts because they also love that guy too.
Yeah. Well, when Star Trek Into Darkness came out, the Cumber bitches and the Pine Nuts showed up at the theater together.
Wait, what?
And yeah.
That was where that massacre happened. I did see. Oh my god!
I did see Cumberbatch asked about the Cumber bitches. He goes, I mean, it's not a great look for feminism that they refer to themselves as that. I just don't think because the other thing, but yes. So eventually, it did become a thing where people were like, "What do you mean? There's going to be 4 years between seasons?" It's like, well, fucking both of them are in The Hobbit now, and then they both end up in the MCU, and the Cumberbatch is. My God,
to the benefit of us all.
Oh, yeah, to all of that. I will say the Hobbit movies are. The two of them are some of the only good stuff in those Hobbit movies, which are disasters. But Cumberbatch is
good effects and some gorgeous, the Weta people. There's nice things to look at.
Yeah, they're just disasters as enjoyable narrative pieces of film. My God, they painful. Well, but he was a great choice. Freeman's fucking amazing.
The last great thing that Peter Jackson did was, of course, appear on the Muppets Electric Mayhem show to explain what happened to the Feebles, and that was the greatest. Last you didn't hear about that, Brennan?
Yeah,
look it up on YouTube.
It's
the Electric Mayhem run into him, and they go, "Hey, Peter Jackson."
Yeah.
Yeah, geez, at that time you introduced us to the Feebles.
Yeah, I like
the Feebles.
I like the Electric Mayhem show. It's not amazing, but it was fun. The idea of doing Spinal Tap with the Electric Mayhem.
Yeah,
but I gotta say that.
What do you guys say?
The last good thing he did was Get Back.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, he did this after though.
Yeah.
But no, that guy, Lord of the Rings, kind of destroyed that man. It both made him and destroyed him. It's an interesting thing there.
But I'm a big defender of his King Kong. I think it's a great work.
I like it. It's just indulgent.
I wouldn't say
let's do some trimming.
I'm not sure I'd say defender, but I remember liking it. I've never watched it again.
It was really good.
I own it.
I saw it in the theater and then was like, well, it's all right.
It's right next to my cool steel book of the first King Kong.
Oh yeah, well that. Yeah.
The original.
Humble brag.
What about
humble brag?
Brendan? What about mine? Says Dino De Laurentiis. Didn't you cry when the monkey died?
You don't want a 4K of Charles Grodin.
There it is. Ooh, that is nice. Listeners can't see it, but that is a nice steelbook of King Kong.
Yeah, very nice. Longtime viewers are enjoying that. But
nope,
Brennan, you don't want a 4K of Rene Auberjonois screaming at Charles Grodin that the only thing on Skull Island that's oil worthy will be oil worthy in about 4 million years.
Yes. Well, the thing that I want is in 4K Charles Grodin getting stomped on at the end.
Sure.
And of course, it's beauty that killed the beast. That's all I'm going to say, okay? It was beauty.
Can I just for a second recognize, once again, I mentioned his name earlier, Paul McGuigan, just because this guy's been crushing it, and I feel like he's not a director people know, but he was the main director on this show. We'd actually talked about over on Meet the Monsters. He made Victor Frankenstein, which is a flawed movie, but has some killer stuff in it. It also pulled in a lot of Sherlock people. He used
with Radcliffe as Igor.
Yeah, and half the cast of Sherlock is in that movie. I think Andrew Scott is once again probably the best thing in that movie. He rules in that movie.
He's the Javert of the movie.
Yeah, he's the cop who becomes obsessed with bringing down.
I'll get you, Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's a fun take. But he also directed the first 2 episodes of Luke Cage. He did direct the Moffat and Gatiss Dracula. He directed all of Inside Man for Moffat. He's done a lot of TV. But also, I just want to quickly mention that he did 2 underseen gangster movies that I like quite a bit. Gangster Number 1 with Paul Bettany and Malcolm McDowell.
That's where I know his name.
Yeah, and Lucky Number 11 I like quite a bit.
That's okay.
No, I really enjoyed that
I like
movie.
Gangster Number 1 for the audacity of having the insanely tall Paul Bettany grow up to be the insanely short Malcolm McDowell.
That's great. That's perfect. If I were trying to say,
it's a good Malcolm McDowell performance too. It's a good movie.
Really good movie.
I just kept thinking you guys you slept on what's his name, the guy from Lord of the Rings and Lost, Dominic Monaghan,
Oh, well,
who
yeah,
so
but
clearly resembles Malcolm McDowell. It's like he was his mom.
no slide on Monahan. They made the right call. Bettany is an electric screen presence that
Yeah,
I don't care if
okay.
he's taller than Malcolm
Understand.
McDowell. It's a really they're both really good in it.
But 100% the movie is well worth
Oh
seeking
yeah,
out,
yeah,
folks.
yeah, yeah. Hard to track down, sadly, in the U.S., which is a bummer because it's a good movie.
Good movie.
But anyway, I've always really dug his stuff, and I think he brings a really interesting visual sensibility to the stuff he directs. And it's like, oh, this is McGuigan. Like we talked about. McGuigan.
He can make anything out of
He's
anything.
good with the directing. He took
he's,
my course.
He's
I
apparently.
told him, Paulie, if you got a 3-story house, just slice it down the middle and shoot all 3
Down the
stories at the
middle.
same time is what I said.
Down the middle.
Jesus. I will
the
just say,
middle.
looking at his IMDb, he's apparently directing a TV show, a spy show with Stephen Fry. I'll be there.
Okay. All right.
Fry, though, isn't he like 90?
Man, Brendan, you add at least 10 to 20 years to everyone's age.
I do that on purpose. I do that.
All right. But what I'm saying is underestimate Stephen Fry, even old Stephen Fry.
No,
Yeah.
yes, I know.
That guy walks on water.
I
love
should
him to
say
death.
he is playing
and is willing to go nude for a dumb bit in a Sherlock Holmes movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's commitment. Head over to our Patreon here to talk about that. I will say he is playing a retired MI6 agent. Does that help, Brendan? As you might
Perfect.
That makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
He'd be a good George Smiley too.
I am very
would.
excited about that.
Yeah.
You saw that they're doing a George Smiley show with Matthew McFadden, which I'm very excited about.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
MGM Plus is doing. They're going to actually do the Smiley novels as an ongoing series, which I think it's about time.
Well, okay. Here's Robin's Bezos corner. I hope you're ready.
Okay.
The whole point of Amazon buying and having streaming and everything is so that one of their big, I would argue, strengths is that they have access to all these relationships with publishers and authors.
Oh my God!
So
yes, of course.
that is why the Amazon house style for original content in terms of television, episodic television, tends to be they find awesome books or book series is what they really like to adapt into television. And with a track record like Bosch, Reacher, Jack Ryan.
I really love Jack Ryan.
And now they're branching out even more. I mean the George Smiley thing.
They're doing Cross. They're doing Scarpetta.
Cross. Right.
They're doing. I mean, I love that as a fan of, as somebody who reads most.
They're
of those
doing
books.
Amelia Bedelia. They're doing.
Well, they're doing.
Encyclopedia Brown.
And they're doing this radical update of Trixie Belden, guys, and I'm telling you.
Actually, getting back to the point of this show, what are they doing next? Young Sherlock. They're doing a Sherlock show. I mean, so that makes sense.
Right.
Which is an adaptation of somebody's books. Like, it's not just doing Young Sherlock in general. They're specifically adapting a set of novels somebody wrote about the early days of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh.
So
if democracy has to die in darkness in order to fund this, I guess it's okay.
I mean, my attitude.
What's a little fascism if you get some good airport paperback series adapted into TV?
I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I will say, when was our art not financed by evil people? Is unfortunately.
Yeah. Just ask Lena, Lenny Riefenstahl. She will tell you, John.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need art to come from the fascism. Yeah.
You have no choice. There it is, folks. We finally reached what everyone was expecting, our Lenny Riefenstahl impression.
It's all right. Robin, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, Riefenstahl, man. Anyway, Sherlock is great. I love the show in general. And what I love, they keep talking about, like, it would be great if in another 10 years they come back and do old man Sherlock with. I mean, the thing that's great about this is it's done for now, but they keep talking about, like, it's always an open door, right? Like, it's they can always come back and do That's one of the things I love about British TV, that American TV does. I guess we're starting to do it a little bit more, but that sort of idea about, like, we're just going to stop the show for now, but we may pick it up in 15 years.
Yeah.
I think that, that's one of the things I love about Prime Suspect with Helen Mirren, that you really see that character age across each of those things, because she'd come back, every 5 or so years. And you're like, that's cool. Actually, the thing that I love most that there is,
it's just like they're doing now with Cagney and Lacey, and they've brought them both back, and they're.
I will say, I do love the episode of Burn Notice that reunited them. I thought that was delightful.
Wait, the episode of what?
Burn Notice, because Sharon Glass was on Burn Notice.
Daly was next door neighbor of Sharon Glass.
Yeah, and I was like,
that's great.
I
never watched.
It was actually a very good script, beautifully acted.
Well, I love that show. I know you've never seen it, Brendan, but Burn Notice was one of my favorites.
Brendan, did you never watch Burn Notice?
Never watched Burn Notice.
So good. Really solid. Like
that's where my theory of that's where my theory of Jeffrey Donovan was created, with genetic DNA strands.
You mean Ray Donovan?
James?
No. Jeffrey Donovan.
Jeffrey Donovan, the star of the show.
Oh, sorry.
It was created with DNA strands from clippings of James Coburn's hair.
Yeah,
because that guy, every time he would smile,
he looks like James Coburn.
These insane teeth, like just like. I don't know if you guys ever saw The President's Analyst. Every time Coburn's character gets paranoid, he does this big shark grin, and it's just, you never forget it. It's insane how big. I thought
Coburn was kind of an underrated leading man. I really like Coburn.
Well,
all right, now we're just
Burn Notice, Brennan.
Burn Notice.
Now we're just talking about everything else.
Also,
edit out the last 20 minutes of this.
Brennan, but that's okay.
Burn Notice. Jeff Johnson is in one of the episodes of the first season.
Well, I'd love to see that.
Also, the episode with Burt Reynolds is fantastic too.
Yes. 100%.
Basically playing like an older version of the Jeffrey Donovan character.
Of Sharky from Sharky's Machine?
No, he comes on his BL Striker, actually, is what he does. The crazy.
Oh my God.
He comes on as WW from WW in the Dance Hall.
Oh my God.
Does he come on as Gator?
He's Gator.
Anyway,
actually, it is set in Florida. That would make a lot of sense, actually. He's Old Man Gator. Old Man Gator
Sherlock,
is a thing I'm working on.
It's a masterpiece.
It is.
Is it the end of our show?
No.
Are there other
well, I've got some highs and lows to read if you guys will indulge me.
No. Brendan was looking at future titles, and I'm afraid, Brendan, that John has something terrifying coming up.
Next week is not, but maybe after that we're in trouble. Next week is something good though. I will say, all right. Well, we'll start with a high, obviously, because that's where we where we land here. This comes to us from IMDb user Blanche2. I guess Blanche 1 was taken.
Blanche.
John. Blanche 2 answers all the questions of Blanche 1.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, it all makes sense now.
All the Blanches.
Who titles their review "Very Impressive." They say a true classic is something that, despite costumes and taking place in another time, remains timeless. And we see with Shakespeare and other great writers, their plays are often put into modern settings and still work. The same is true of classic characters. Sherlock brings Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson into the 21st century. This isn't, of course, the first time these two have worked and lived in modern times, as the Sherlock film series starring Basil Rathbone was used during World War II. Actually, I'll just pop out of the review and say that was something Gatiss and Moffat brought up a lot, that they really liked those Rathbone Sherlock Holmes movies. And some of this started as somebody should do that. Like that sort of started. Like, remember when they did that? Like, why do you have to tie him to his time period? Anyway, this time though,
Jones gets upset.
Well, I will say it's an interesting debate. But yeah, Brendan isn't mad.
If you do it well, I'm down for it.
Well, I think actually this review is correct. It does show this character you could do almost anything with if you write it intelligently. All right, this time though, Sherlock is young, working in a lab where he met Watson. He's not working or whatever. Anyway. In need of a roommate, but feeling no one will want to live with them. The plot description, whatever. This first case, A Study in Pink, concerns a series of suicides from the same poison committed by 3 unrelated people. Holmes thinks they were driven to it. But how? Fast-moving, fascinating, and delightful. Holmes and Watson now have use of the internet, GPS, and cell phones. Sherlock, in fact, is a great texter. Going to pop out again to say, we didn't talk about that. I instantly fell in love with this show during the scene where he's texting wrong to the press.
Wrong.
Is one of the best. And the idea that they already know him, and like Lestrade is up there being like, oh, like he's doing it.
Yeah, and the fact that all the people, including the press, are getting the same text.
Yeah, it says wrong. Someone just
says wrong.
Please
again?
ignore the text.
And then
ignore the text.
And then the Lestrade getting the text that says like, "I'm available. You know where to find me." SH.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I'm just like, I was instantly endeared to the show when it first aired. I was like, that's the best. Anyway, sorry. Sherlock is, in fact, a great texter. He wears 3 nicotine patches because smoking in London has become impossible. Another clever beat in the show, too. Yeah. And he meditates on crime while wearing them. The line, I love the line, it's the 3 nicotine patch problem.
Yep. It's a 3-patch problem.
It's a 3-patch problem, Watson. The other modern touch is everyone thinks Holmes and Watson are gay lovers. Also really enjoyed that. Because of course that's very fan fiction-y.
I'm not his date.
Yeah,
I'm not his date.
And I also love the moment where Holmes says, "Look, Watson, I'm very busy with work." I'm not hitting on you. It's like I'm flattered, but it's just not going to work. Okay. Instead of stories, it's looking like Watson is going to be writing a blog. All these modernisms are very effective and work well in the story. 34-year-old Cumberbatch is Holmes. Thin, youthful, fast-talking, and attractive, and the slightly older Freeman is a serious and troubled Watson, not the buffoon of Nigel Bruce, but a person who perks up when he becomes involved in the excitement of Holmes's case. They make a good team. Really can't wait for more of these. Very enjoyable, suspenseful, and entertaining. 10 out of 10 stars. I will say, speaking to our point about this being a masterpiece, the lowest rating review I could find is a 4-star.
Yeah, no, that
100%.
Yeah. Although
you do not have to have read the books. You don't. I mean, I watched that episode of Cushing because you guys may know I love Peter Cushing.
I believe that's been stated a few times on here. Yeah,
I think that's been said. We can Patreon.
I think we all share that opinion.
But you don't. None of this is predicated on you knowing anything from the canon. You don't need to have read the books. This is a great take on an interesting pair of people.
I know a lot of people who, when the show is coming on, and people in their 20s and stuff, who started reading the stories then because they're like, wait, are they like this? And the answer is, of course, some of them are. Some of them will have this vibe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, all right. This comes to us from Nadine26.
She's one of my favorites.
She took out the other 25 Nadines. It was sort of a Highlander situation.
I remember those gladiator events.
There can be only one Nadine. The title of the review is, "I hope the rest is better." I normally don't write reviews. A lot of people get slammed for their 2 cents worth, but this time I was really disappointed. I've only now started watching Sherlock. Everyone raved about it, but his staring eyes bugged me. But I thought it shouldn't matter. Let's take a look. For someone who was so smart, it took a long time for him to figure it out. I was calling out the answer to him as soon as he started summing up the possibilities. It was obvious after about 20 minutes. In the unaired pilot, which is the same story but told a little differently, there it was even easier to know who'd done it. Plus, Sherlock really blew it there by not listening or paying attention, which is completely out of character. Is that what everybody found so thrilling? It was irritating. 4 out of 10 stars. Well, by the way, the idea, this is a classic thing that drives me insane in reviews of mystery or thriller stuff. They're like, I know who did it. I figured it out right away. Is such an annoying thing. And also, even if you figure out it's a cab driver, you didn't put together what he was doing. There's no way in hell that you were like,
no, you didn't know that whole stuff.
And the idea of why he was doing it, like
the thing about the Cushing episode, they allude to that it's a cab driver.
That's I mean, the first thing you see in this is somebody get into a cab. I mean, that's not that hard to figure out. But like, this is a thing that drives me insane. Once again, just about mysteries in general. Is like, who did the murder is not necessarily the be all end all of a mystery story. The idea, once again, the idea of how he's doing it, the idea of why he's doing it, all of that stuff is what makes that last scene so compelling. Not that, it was a cab driver. Who cares? Like
100%. And I God,
figured it out,
for
solved it before you, Sherlock.
I'll give you one. Glass Onion, I figured out what the trick of it was once Dave Bautista died. I was like, oh, this is like the mirror cracked. Okay.
Sure.
But it didn't make it any less enjoyable for me to watch the last, 30 minutes of it or whatever. That's bullshit. The puzzle of it is a delivery service to get
the other thing that irks me is people who are mad when a mystery doesn't allow them to figure it out. Like, why didn't they give me all the information? They don't have to. Like, that's not...
No, this one played fair. I mean,
this one did.
Again, it is giving you the clues, and if you figured it out, great. It's like, hey, pat yourself on the back. You are Sherlock Holmes. You are the best.
I'd be interested to find out if she also was disappointed in Scooby-Doo episodes.
It's gonna be the old man who owns the amusement park. I know it.
Totally old man Johnson.
By the way, guys, get ready for that because we're getting that gritty origin story on Netflix now.
Oh boy!
The live action Scooby-Doo origin, how the team came together series is
I already
in the works.
wrote it.
Yeah.
What? Brendan's gonna sue him now.
Yeah, sorry about that, Brendan. That's they're friends with Billy Mummy, if that helps.
If they said it in 1960s, and they if I catch a whiff of them actually stealing from my fan fiction, there will be
hell to pay. Mr. Sarandos,
lawyers on it.
Hey, Ted Sarandos, you're on notice. You're on notice.
Yeah.
I will. One more thing about this compared to the original story, because I was blown away by how they had reworked this out. The whole bit about in the original story where the two inspectors keep going, well, it's obviously it's a reference to Rachel. Rache. And then by the end of it, Holmes goes, no, it's German for revenge. It's obvious.
They flip it, and it's so
they
great.
flipped it.
Yeah.
And on top of everything else, the cab driver in the original has a very personal reason for killing these guys.
Yes.
And this guy
is totally
is a lunatic.
Yeah.
And
the flips of the material is
that's the thing. Feige talks about doing this at Marvel sometimes, where it's like we'll purposely do things to throw off the people. Like, I read the comics, and then you spin it around on them is very good here. Also, I remember watching this too, and the second when he steps on the guy's arm, and he's like, Moriarty's, and you're like, once again, it's that comic book thing of, ooh, the arch nemesis.
Right.
And of course, at that point, you are still thinking it's Mark Gatiss, but it's not.
It's the last panel of the first issue of Tower of Babel, the JLA, when Batman's screaming into his
It was
microphone.
me. I've done this to you.
I'm the one.
This to you.
Oh God,
so great.
Tower of Babel,
one of the best JLA.
Oh, not without 100%. Question, a masterpiece.
Wade jumped in and was like, "Oh, I got one."
Yeah, I mean, right on top of an already great run from Grant Morrison. That's what it's, you just like. It doesn't get any better.
Yeah, that was the fill-in.
I know, incredible. Real quick, I did see an interview with Moffat. There, he had a funny anecdote about somebody asked him, "How'd you convince Gatiss to play Mycroft?" He said, "Oh no. It wasn't convincing him to play. It was convincing him not to play every other character." Because he said when we started right in, he goes, "Obviously I'll be Sherlock," and I said, "You can't be Sherlock," and he said, "Oh well, I'll play Watson then." I was like, "You can't fucking play Watson." He goes, "Great, I'll be You know what? I'll be Moriarty," and he's like, "No, you're not going to be Moriarty." And then finally it was like Mycroft is like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, and
that's fine.
First time viewers to this wonderful series. Please also search out the one-off Christmas special they did.
It's delightful. It's delightful. The Abominable Bride.
Where the Abominable Bride, where it takes place in the original Victorian time. Yeah, it's so because Gatiss in that effing fat suit.
Yeah. They do all the things. They like it's a winking, but it's fun, and it's them. It's everyone getting to play dress up, but it's still really well written and performed, and it's really very clever.
And they still give Freeman shit about his mustache in that one too.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, if you want to hear more from us, and by God, who wouldn't? We're on. You can go over our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup. That's punchupent. Get cool exclusive.
And ignore my brother shaking his head no.
Bonus content. If you want to hear us talk extensively about Peter Cushing, we did a whole separate show over there about the man and how big a crush we have on him. We were Peter Crushing. But that's over there. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Never miss an episode. Speaking of
what's next week?
Next week is I think another little gem, and that is Bill Condon's Mr. Holmes. We will watch Sir Ian McKellen as an elderly Sherlock Holmes. I haven't seen this since it came out, but I remember being quite charmed by it.
Charmed is the word.
I was touched. I enjoyed it. And by the way, this is a hint to get people to listen next week.
Yes.
What is that?
There is the return of a previous Holmes actor.
No.
There is. Also, something I didn't remember until I'm looking at it right now. There's also the return of Phil Davis is in it. Phil Davis is in Mr. Holmes, but yes, we will talk about that.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a movie I like quite a bit. So that'll be next week on the show. But until then, the case file is closed.